Welcome, dear listener, to a journey that begins not just among the stars, but within the quiet corners of your imagination. As you settle into a moment of peace, let your thoughts drift gently, like moonlight over still waters. This story is one of ambition, of perseverance, and of a dream that reached beyond the skies. Before we begin, take a deep breath, let your shoulders relax, and allow yourself to be carried by the rhythm of discovery. If you enjoy these gentle explorations, consider subscribing, so you never miss a voyage into wonder. Long before Chandrayaan-3 etched its name into the lunar soil, the moon had already been touched by the hands of a few pioneering nations. The story of lunar landings begins in the tense, electrifying days of the Cold War, when space became the ultimate frontier of human competition. The first to land on the moon was the Soviet Union, whose Luna 2 mission impacted the surface in 1959, followed by Luna 9 in 1966, which achieved the first soft landing. Then came the United States, whose Apollo missions remain legendary, with Apollo 11's Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepping onto the moon in 1969, marking humanity's first footprints on another world. Over the years, the US continued its lunar exploration with a series of successful missions, each expanding our understanding of the moon's mysteries. Decades passed, and the moon remained a distant memory for many, until new players emerged. China joined the elite group with its Change program, achieving a soft landing with Change 3 in 2013, and later making history with a Change 4, the first mission to land on the far side of the moon. More recently, in 2023, Russia attempted a return with Luna 25, though the mission ended in failure. Israel and Japan have also made attempts, though not yet with successful soft landings. And then, in August 2023, India became the fourth country to achieve a soft landing on the moon, and the first to land near the lunar South Pole, with Chandrayaan-3. India's journey to the moon has been one of steady progress, marked by learning, resilience, and vision. The Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, began its lunar program with Chandrayaan-1 in 2008. This orbiter mission was a major success, discovering water molecules on the moon's surface and proving India's capability in deep space exploration. Then came Chandrayaan-2 in 2019. A more ambitious mission that included an orbiter, lander, and rover. While the orbiter continues to function and send valuable data, the lander, Vikram, unfortunately crashed during its descent, a moment that was both heartbreaking and galvanizing for the nation. The setback of Chandrayaan-2 did not deter ISRO. Instead, it became the foundation for Chandrayaan-3, a mission designed with precision, caution, and renewed hope. Unlike its predecessor, Chandrayaan-3 focused solely on the lander and rover, relying on the still operational Chandrayaan-2 orbiter for communication and data relay. This strategic decision allowed ISRO to concentrate its efforts on achieving a successful soft landing, a goal that had eluded them once before. The development of Chandrayaan-3 was not without its challenges. Delays caused by the global pandemic, technical refinements, and the need for rigorous testing pushed the launch timeline further than initially planned. Yet, with each delay came deeper preparation, and with each test, greater confidence. The spacecraft was finally launched on the 14th of July, 2023, at 2:35 p.m. IST, aboard the LVM-3M4 rocket from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. As the rocket soared into the sky, carrying with it the hopes of a billion people, the mission entered a new phase, one of anticipation, precision, and quiet determination. Chandrayaan-3's journey to the moon was methodical, using earthbound maneuvers to gradually raise its orbit before transitioning into lunar orbit. This approach, known as the Hohmann transfer, is energy efficient and allows for careful trajectory corrections. Once in lunar orbit, the spacecraft performed a series of maneuvers to position itself for descent. The lander, named Vikram once again, carried the rover Pragyan, both designed to operate for 1 lunar day, equivalent to about 14 Earth days. As the date of landing approached, the world watched with bated breath. On the 23rd of August, 2023, at approximately 6:04 p.m. IST, Vikram began its descent. Unlike the previous attempt, this time the descent was smooth, controlled, and precise. The lander touched down near the lunar South Pole, a region of immense scientific interest due to its permanently shadowed craters that may contain water ice. The successful landing was met with jubilation across India and admiration around the globe. It was not just a technical achievement, but a symbol of resilience, of learning from failure, and of the quiet power of perseverance. The South Pole of the Moon is a place of mystery and promise. Unlike the equatorial regions explored by previous missions, the South Pole offers unique conditions: extreme cold, long shadows, and the possibility of water ice trapped in craters untouched by sunlight for billions of years. Water on the Moon could be a game-changer for future exploration, providing resources for life support and fuel. By landing in this region, Chandrayaan-3 opened a new chapter in lunar science, one that could shape the future of human presence beyond Earth. As Vikram settled into its new home, it deployed the Pragyan rover, which began its slow, deliberate crawl across the lunar surface. Equipped with instruments to study the composition of the soil, the presence of elements, and the behavior of lunar dust, Pragyan became India's first robotic emissary to explore another world. Its movements were cautious, its mission brief, but its significance profound. For the first time, India was not just observing the Moon from afar. It was touching it, studying it, and leaving its mark. This moment, this gentle arrival on the Moon's quiet surface, was the culmination of decades of dreaming, planning, and striving. It was a testament to the spirit of exploration that lives within every nation, and within every curious heart. Chandrayaan-3 did not just land on the Moon, it landed in the pages of history, and in the hearts of those who believe in the power of science, collaboration, and hope. As we pause here, at the edge of this remarkable achievement, let your thoughts linger in the silence of the lunar plains. Imagine the soft crunch of dust beneath Pragyan's wheels, the distant Earth hanging in the sky, and the quiet hum of instruments seeking knowledge in the void. This is where segment 1 ends, but the journey continues. If you've enjoyed this gentle unfolding of India's lunar story, consider subscribing, so you can join us for the next chapter. Rest well, dream deeply, and let the stars guide your thoughts until we meet again. The Moon, silent and ancient, watched as Vikram settled into its embrace. But the journey to that moment was long and intricate, woven with engineering precision and quiet determination. Chandrayaan-3 was not merely a spacecraft, it was a symphony of systems, each designed to perform with grace under the harsh conditions of space. Unlike its predecessor, Chandrayaan-2, this mission was streamlined. It carried no orbiter, relying instead on the still-functioning Chandrayaan-2 orbiter to relay communications and data back to Earth. This decision allowed ISRO to focus entirely on the lander and rover, refining their design and functionality with lessons learned from the past. The lander, Vikram, named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of India's space program, was built to withstand the rigors of descent and lunar surface operations. It stood tall, equipped with 4 landing legs, each designed to absorb the shock of touchdown. Its body housed a suite of instruments, including a laser Doppler velocimeter, a lander horizontal velocity camera, and a suite of sensors to monitor temperature, orientation, and altitude. These systems worked in harmony to guide Vikram safely to the surface, adjusting its descent in real time to avoid hazards and ensure a soft landing. Nestled within Vikram was Pragyan, the rover, a 6-wheeled explorer designed to move slowly and deliberately across the lunar terrain. Pragyan carried 2 spectrometers, the Alpha Particle X-ray Spectrometer, APXS, and the laser-induced breakdown spectroscope, LIBS, to analyze the composition of the Moon's soil and rocks. Its movements were autonomous, guided by on-board navigation and hazard avoidance systems. Though its operational life was brief, just one lunar day, its mission was rich with scientific promise. The launch of Chandrayaan-3 was a moment of quiet triumph. On the 14th of July, 2023, the LVM-3M4 rocket ignited at the Satish Dhawan Space Center, lifting the spacecraft into the sky with a roar that echoed across the nation. The LVM-3, India's most powerful launch vehicle, had been chosen for its reliability and payload capacity. As it ascended, shedding its stages and entering orbit, the spacecraft began its journey not just through space, but into history. Once in Earth orbit, Chandrayaan-3 performed a series of maneuvers to gradually raise its altitude. These earthbound maneuvers, known as perigee-raising burns, allowed the spacecraft to build momentum and prepare for its transition to lunar orbit. Each maneuver was carefully timed and executed, monitored by ISRO's mission control in Bengaluru. The spacecraft's propulsion system, a cluster of thrusters and fuel tanks, responded with precision, adjusting its trajectory with gentle bursts of thrust. After several days of orbit raising, Chandrayaan-3 performed its translunar injection, a critical maneuver that sent it on a path toward the Moon. This phase of the mission was delicate, requiring exact calculations to ensure the spacecraft would enter lunar orbit at the correct angle and speed. As it approached the Moon, the spacecraft fired its engines once more, slowing down to be captured by the Moon's gravity. It then began a series of lunar orbit reduction maneuvers, gradually lowering its altitude to prepare for separation and descent. Throughout this journey, the spacecraft was monitored continuously. Telemetry data streamed back to Earth, showing the health of systems, the status of instruments, and the progress of maneuvers. Engineers and scientists watched with quiet intensity, knowing that each step brought them closer to the moment of truth. The spacecraft's systems performed flawlessly, responding to commands and adjusting to the changing conditions of space. As the spacecraft settled into its final lunar orbit, the lander module separated from the propulsion module. This moment marked the beginning of the descent phase, a time of heightened focus and anticipation. The propulsion module, having completed its task, remained in orbit, continuing to relay data and support communications. The lander, now alone, began its final preparations for descent. The descent sequence was a ballet of engineering. Vikram's on-board computer took control, using data from its sensors and cameras to guide its path. The descent was divided into phases: rough braking, fine braking, and terminal descent. During rough braking, the lander reduced its velocity dramatically, using its engines to counteract the pull of lunar gravity. In the fine braking phase, it adjusted its orientation and speed, aligning itself with the landing site. Finally, in the terminal descent phase, Vikram hovered briefly, scanning the surface for hazards before gently lowering itself to the ground. This time, unlike in 2019, everything went according to plan. The engines fired with precision, the sensors responded accurately, and the lander touched down softly, its legs absorbing the impact. The landing site, near the lunar South Pole, was chosen for its scientific value and relative safety. As Vikram settled into the dust, a wave of relief and celebration swept through ISRO's mission control. Years of planning, testing, and refinement had culminated in success. With the lander safely on the surface, the next phase began. Vikram deployed Pragyan, the rover, which rolled down a ramp and began its exploration. The rover's movements were slow and deliberate, designed to avoid tipping or damage. Its instruments began analyzing the soil, sending data back through the lander to the orbiter, and then to Earth. The LIBS instrument confirmed the presence of sulfur, a significant finding that hinted at the Moon's geological history and potential resources. The success of this phase was not just technical, it was symbolic. It demonstrated India's ability to learn from setbacks, to refine its approach, and to achieve its goals with determination and grace. Chandrayaan-3 was not just a mission, it was a message, a quiet declaration that India had arrived as a serious player in lunar exploration. As the rover continued its work, the lander monitored environmental conditions, including temperature variations and seismic activity. Though the mission was designed to last only one lunar day, every moment was used to gather data, to explore, and to understand. The instruments worked tirelessly, capturing images, analyzing samples, and sending their findings across the vast distance to Earth. This phase of the mission, the journey from launch to landing and deployment, was a masterclass in engineering and perseverance. It showed what could be achieved with careful planning, rigorous testing, and a commitment to excellence. Chandrayaan-3's success was not just a victory for ISRO, it was a moment of pride for a nation, and a step forward for humanity's exploration of the Moon. Now, with the lander and rover in place, the mission turned its focus to science. The next segment will explore the discoveries made, the challenges faced, and the insights gained from this remarkable expedition. Let us continue, without pause, into the heart of lunar exploration. With Vikram and Pragyan now active on the Moon's surface, the mission entered its most delicate and rewarding phase, scientific exploration. The lunar South Pole, where Chandrayaan-3 had landed, is a region of immense interest to scientists around the world. Unlike the equatorial zones explored by previous missions, the South Pole contains craters that remain in perpetual shadow, potentially harboring water ice and offering clues to the Moon's ancient past. This region, cold and quiet, became the stage for India's most ambitious lunar study yet. Pragyan, the rover, began its slow journey across the regolith, the fine dust that blankets the Moon's surface. Its wheels, etched with the ISRO logo and the Ashoka Chakra, left symbolic imprints as it moved, a gentle reminder of the nation that had sent it. The rover's instruments came alive, scanning the soil and rocks with precision. The laser-induced breakdown spectroscope, or LIBS, fired pulses of laser light at the surface, vaporizing tiny amounts of material and analyzing the resulting plasma to determine elemental composition. Within days, LIBS confirmed the presence of sulfur, a discovery that sparked excitement among scientists. Sulfur, along with other elements like aluminium, calcium, iron, and titanium, provides insight into the Moon's geological processes. Its presence near the South Pole suggests complex chemical interactions and possibly volcanic activity in the distant past. These findings help researchers understand the Moon's formation, its evolution, and its potential as a resource-rich body for future missions. Pragyan's data, though limited by its short operational window, added valuable pieces to the puzzle of lunar science. Meanwhile, Vikram, the lander, remained stationary but vigilant. It carried instruments designed to measure temperature variations, seismic activity, and the behavior of lunar dust. One of its key experiments was the RAMBHALP, or radioanatomy of moon-bound hypersensitive ionosphere and atmosphere, Langmuir probe. This device studied the plasma environment near the lunar surface, providing data on how solar radiation interacts with the Moon's thin exosphere. Understanding this interaction is crucial for future missions, especially those involving human presence. Another important payload aboard Vikram was the CHASTER, or Chandra's Surface Thermophysical Experiment. This instrument measured temperature gradients beneath the surface, helping scientists understand how heat is conducted through the lunar soil. The data revealed stark contrasts between sunlit and shadowed areas, with temperatures ranging from over 50 degrees Celsius in direct sunlight to below -10 degrees Celsius in shaded regions. These extremes pose challenges for equipment and habitation, making such measurements vital for planning future lunar bases. The third major experiment was ILSA, the instrument for lunar seismic activity. Though the Moon is geologically inactive compared to Earth, it still experiences quakes, some caused by tidal forces, others by meteorite impacts. ILSA detected subtle vibrations, offering clues about the Moon's internal structure. These seismic readings, though faint, contribute to our understanding of the Moon's crust and mantle, and help refine models of its formation. Together, Vikram and Pragyan formed a compact but powerful scientific team. Their instruments worked in concert, gathering data that would be analyzed for months and years to come. Though their operational life was short, limited to 1 lunar day, or about 14 Earth days, their impact was lasting. As the sun began to set over the landing site, temperatures dropped rapidly, and both the lander and rover entered sleep mode, their systems designed to withstand the cold but not guaranteed to awaken. ISRO had hoped that the hardware might survive the lunar night and reawaken when sunlight returned. However, the extreme cold, which can plunge below -180 degrees Celsius, poses a severe threat to electronics and batteries. Despite these challenges, the mission was already considered a resounding success. Chandrayaan-3 had achieved its primary objectives: a soft landing, deployment of the rover, and collection of scientific data. Anything beyond that would be a bonus. The global response to Chandrayaan-3 was overwhelmingly positive. Scientists, space agencies, and media outlets praised India's achievement, recognizing it as a milestone not just for the country, but for lunar exploration as a whole. The successful landing near the South Pole was particularly significant, as it demonstrated the feasibility of operating in one of the Moon's most challenging environments. This region is of great interest to future missions, including NASA's Artemis program, which aims to land astronauts near the South Pole in the coming years. India's success also highlighted the growing capabilities of emerging space nations. With a relatively modest budget compared to other spacefaring countries, ISRO had demonstrated that careful planning, innovation, and resilience could achieve remarkable results. Chandrayaan-3 became a symbol of what is possible when ambition is matched with discipline and vision. It inspired not only scientists and engineers, but students, educators, and dreamers across the globe. The mission also sparked renewed interest in international collaboration. As space becomes increasingly accessible, partnerships between nations are essential for sharing knowledge, resources, and expertise. Chandrayaan-3's data is being studied by researchers worldwide, contributing to a collective understanding of the Moon and its potential. The mission's success may pave the way for joint ventures, where countries pool their strengths to explore deeper into space. Back on Earth, ISRO continued to monitor the spacecraft, analyze the data, and plan for future missions. The organization's focus remained steady, with upcoming projects including Gaganyaan, India's first crewed space flight, and further lunar and planetary explorations. Chandrayaan-3 had proven that setbacks could be overcome, and that each mission builds upon the lessons of the last. As the lunar night deepened, Vikram and Pragyan remained silent, their work complete, their legacy secure. The data they sent home would be studied, debated, and celebrated. Their journey, though brief, had opened new doors and illuminated new paths. Chandrayaan-3 was not just a mission, it was a moment of clarity, a reminder that exploration is a shared human endeavor, driven by curiosity and courage. As the dust settled around Vikram and Pragyan, and their instruments fell silent beneath the long lunar night, the echoes of Chandrayaan-3's success continued to ripple across the globe. This mission, modest in budget but monumental in ambition, had not only achieved its technical goals, it had reshaped perceptions, inspired new conversations, and positioned India as a formidable force in space exploration. The impact of Chandrayaan-3 extended far beyond the Moon's surface, reaching into the realms of policy, education, and international collaboration. One of the most immediate effects was the renewed global interest in lunar exploration. The Moon, once a symbol of Cold War rivalry, had become a shared destination for scientific inquiry and technological advancement. Chandrayaan-3's landing near the South Pole was particularly significant, as this region is central to future plans for sustained lunar presence. NASA's Artemis program, for instance, aims to land astronauts in this very area, and India's success demonstrated that such missions are not only possible but increasingly accessible to emerging space nations. The South Pole's allure lies in its unique conditions: permanently shadowed craters, potential water ice deposits, and stable temperatures in certain regions. These features make it an ideal location for future lunar bases, where water could be used for life support and fuel production. Chandrayaan-3's data on surface composition, temperature gradients, and plasma interactions contribute directly to this vision, helping scientists and engineers design systems that can operate in such extreme environments. India's achievement also sparked discussions about the democratization of space. For decades, space exploration was dominated by a few wealthy nations with vast resources. Chandrayaan-3, with its relatively low cost and high impact, challenged this narrative. It showed that with careful planning, innovation, and resilience, meaningful contributions to space science are within reach for many countries. This shift has encouraged other nations to invest in their own space programs, fostering a more inclusive and collaborative global space community. In educational institutions across India and beyond, Chandrayaan-3 became a catalyst for curiosity. Students followed the mission's progress with excitement, teachers incorporated its milestones into lessons, and young minds began to dream of careers in science and engineering. ISRO's outreach efforts, including public broadcasts and educational materials, helped bridge the gap between complex space science and everyday understanding. The mission became a story not just of technology, but of inspiration, a reminder that exploration begins with questions, and that every child who looks up at the moon might one day help unlock its secrets. The mission also had a profound effect on India's space policy. With Chandrayaan-3's success, ISRO gained increased support for future projects, including interplanetary missions and human spaceflight. The Gaganyaan program, which aims to send Indian astronauts into space, received renewed attention and funding. Plans for Chandrayaan-4 and other lunar missions began to take shape, with discussions about more advanced rovers, longer duration landers, and even sample return capabilities. The momentum created by Chandrayaan-3 became a foundation for a new era of exploration. Internationally, the mission opened doors for collaboration. Space agencies around the world expressed interest in partnering with ISRO, recognizing the value of shared expertise and resources. Data from Chandrayaan-3 was made available to global researchers, contributing to a collective understanding of the Moon's geology and environment. These partnerships are essential for tackling the complex challenges of space exploration, from building sustainable habitats to navigating deep space travel. Chandrayaan-3 also highlighted the importance of resilience in scientific endeavor. The failure of Chandrayaan-2's lander in 2019 was a painful moment, but it became a turning point. ISRO's decision to learn from the experience, refine its systems, and try again was a powerful example of perseverance. This mindset, of embracing failure as a step towards success, is vital in all fields of research and innovation. It teaches us that progress is not linear, and that each setback carries the seeds of future achievement. The mission's success was celebrated not only in India but across the world. Media outlets praised the achievement, scientists shared their excitement, and space enthusiasts marveled at the images and data. Chandrayaan-3 became a trending topic on social platforms, with hashtags and tributes spreading rapidly. The lander's descent and the rover's movements were watched by millions, creating a shared moment of wonder and pride. In the broader context of space history, Chandrayaan-3 marked a shift. It was not just another mission, it was a statement. It said that space is no longer the exclusive domain of a few, but a frontier open to all who dare to explore. It reminded us that the moon, though distant, is part of our shared heritage, and that its secrets belong to everyone willing to seek them. As the mission's data continues to be analyzed, its legacy grows. The findings on sulfur and other elements will inform future studies, the temperature and seismic readings will guide equipment design, and the plasma measurements will shape our understanding of lunar weather. Each piece of information adds to the mosaic of knowledge, building a clearer picture of the moon's past, present, and potential. Chandrayaan-3's story is one of quiet triumph. It did not boast, it did not rush, it moved with care, with purpose, and with heart. It showed that exploration is not about grandeur, but about curiosity, discipline, and the courage to try again. It reminded us that the moon is not just a destination, but a mirror, reflecting our hopes, our questions, and our shared journey through the cosmos. You've traveled far, through history, through science, through the quiet triumphs of human endeavor. Now, as we reflect on the legacy of Chandrayaan-3, allow yourself to relax, to breathe deeply, and to feel the gentle rhythm of discovery. If you've enjoyed this immersive voyage, consider subscribing, so you can join us again whenever wonder calls. Chandrayaan-3's story is more than a mission log. It is a reflection of humanity's enduring desire to reach beyond what is known. It is a tale of resilience, of learning from failure, and of the quiet strength found in persistence. When Vikram touched down near the lunar South Pole, it wasn't just a technical achievement. It was a moment of connection, a bridge between Earth and Moon, between past and future, between ambition and reality. The mission's success has already begun to shape the future of India's space program. ISRO, buoyed by the achievement, is now looking ahead to more complex endeavors. Plans for Chandrayaan-4 are being discussed, with the possibility of sample return missions and longer duration surface operations. The Gaganyaan program, aiming to send Indian astronauts into space, has gained momentum, with Chandrayaan-3 serving as a proof of concept for precision landing and autonomous systems. These missions will build upon the foundation laid by Vikram and Pragyan, extending India's reach deeper into the cosmos. Beyond India, Chandrayaan-3 has influenced global space exploration strategies. Its success near the lunar South Pole has validated the scientific interest in this region, encouraging other space agencies to refine their own plans. NASA's Artemis missions, ESA's lunar initiatives, and private ventures are all looking to the South Pole as a gateway to sustainable lunar presence. Chandrayaan-3's data, on terrain, composition, and environmental conditions, will inform landing site selection, habitat design, and resource utilization strategies for years to come. The mission has also sparked a cultural shift. In classrooms, students now speak of space with new excitement. In homes, families watched the landing together, sharing in the joy of discovery. In media, Chandrayaan-3 became a symbol of national pride and global respect. It reminded people that science is not distant or abstract. It is alive, it is human, and it is within reach. The mission's quiet dignity, its focus on learning and progress, resonated deeply with audiences around the world. One of the most profound aspects of Chandrayaan-3 is its message of inclusivity. It showed that space is not reserved for the few, but open to all who dare to dream. It demonstrated that excellence is not defined by budget, but by vision and discipline. It encouraged nations with emerging space programs to pursue their goals, knowing that success is possible with commitment and care. Chandrayaan-3 became a beacon, guiding others toward the stars. As we reflect on the mission's legacy, we also consider its deeper meaning. The moon, silent and ancient, has watched over Earth for billions of years. It has inspired myths, guided calendars, and lit the night sky with gentle light. To land upon it is to touch history, to engage with a celestial companion that has shaped our world in subtle ways. Chandrayaan-3's presence on the moon is a reminder that exploration is not just about reaching new places, it is about understanding our place in the universe. The mission also invites us to think about the future. What lies beyond the moon? Mars, asteroids, deep space. Each destination carries its own challenges, its own mysteries. But the spirit of Chandrayaan-3, the spirit of careful planning, of learning from setbacks, of quiet determination, will guide these journeys. It will remind us that exploration is a process, a path walked step by step, with patience and courage. In the quiet moments after the landing, as Vikram and Pragyan settled into the lunar dust, a new chapter began. It was not written in code or data, but in the hearts of those who watched, who wondered, who believed. Chandrayaan-3 became a story told in classrooms, in newsrooms, in conversations around dinner tables. It became a symbol of what is possible, of what we can achieve when we work together, when we persevere, when we dream. And now, as we close this journey, let your thoughts drift gently, like the rover's wheels across the moon's surface. Imagine the silence of space, the distant Earth glowing softly in the sky, the quiet hum of instruments seeking knowledge in the void. This is where Chandrayaan-3 lives now, not just on the moon, but in the minds and hearts of those who look up and wonder. Thank you for joining this voyage. If you found peace, inspiration, or curiosity in these words, consider subscribing, so you can return whenever you wish. Rest well, dream deeply, and let the stars guide your thoughts until we meet again.